to the travel chat. I'm uncertain as to whether it's working properly right now. But anyways, Laura, I am so thrilled that you could join me today because you're one of the very few people I know that has actually traveled to Europe and has, well, the only one I know that has come back now. The other person I know is she's still in Europe right now. So how was it?
It was fabulous, and I really encourage anyone who is teetering on that edge who can do this right now to not sit in fear and anxiety and think. I had people make all these comments like, you can do that? Like, is this right? Is it fair? Is it safe? Is it possible? And it certainly is. The only thing that is still a challenge is that when you come back, I understand there's no word in sight about that you have to do the quarantine thing. Right. So you have, I mean, for myself, I am a writer, largely a writer. I'm a travel blogger. I'm a writer. I'm an Egyptologist as well, but I work from home. It's not a big issue. My husband who works at Air Canada, which allows us to travel, had enough holiday time that he could do sold a few shifts and he could do an extra week and sell a few more days. But you have to stay at home 2 weeks after you travel. That is the only detriment to overseas travel right now for Canadians.
Okay, so I had the pleasure of reading your blog, and I took that information with your granting approval, and I created this PowerPoint that I am going to share, if I can find it. Here we go. And there it is. And well, that wasn't the beginning of your
Yes, we didn't fly overseas in that plane. That I wouldn't have been very confident. No, this was the little jet that took us to Mykonos from Athens, I believe. So our trip, we travel a little differently because, as I say, my husband works for the airline. Right. So he went to the very deserted ghost town, Pearson International Airport. Very few people there. And this was on August 3rd, and we got on a trip. Oh, yeah, we're jumping ahead. And we went to Zurich, and from Zurich, we went to Athens, and from Athens, we connected to Mykonos. Actually, we got a very good deal, Zurich to Mykonos, even though we were going to Naxos, and we weren't really headed for Mykonos, but a chance to spend some time there. So, yes, there you go. Very good. Yeah, I got a lot of weird comments about it and saying, wow, someone wrote me back, wow, crazy, you know? It's like, sure, you know, like, and I just wonder the different reactions. I think there are enough people saying, wow, awesome, I love this. But there are some that I think maybe some jealousy, some disapproval, some thinking, oh, this isn't right. So, you know, that it's a very, very tricky time. It's a very strange time in the world, and people are feeling a lot of different emotions.
Right, and so there's your ghost town. I mean, I've been to, I get to Pearson on a typical year every other month or every 2 months I'm there. I've never seen it like this unless I got stuck in the airport like at 2 a.m.
Yeah, and obviously you're supposed to wear masks all the way through. This is my light traveling. My husband is pushing the baggage cart. I really tried to pare it down. I'm not very good for all the travel I do. You'd think I'd be more lightweight, but I can't. 12 days, I packed a lot. But it is a big
so yes. No, I do have one hero. There's a woman I know. She lives out west in Alberta somewhere, and she's in her late 30s, early 40s, and she traveled with her computer through Europe with one backpack. I don't know how you did it. She's my hero.
I don't know. I want to have a different little cute dress every night. I'm just like that. I like to have, you know, hey, listen, we're living at home here. Right. We're isolated. We can't go out. So when I travel, at least I want to wear some nice things.
Now, did you download this app?
Well, interestingly, when you saw the picture of my husband with all the bags. We arrived at the baggage counter, and the very nice lady said, did you know Greece has just insisted on you doing this 24 hours before you arrive? And it's like they had just done it. Said, you've got to download this thing. So I was standing at the baggage counter, filling it in. And luckily we were going via Zurich, and so it was a little under 24 hours, but I got it in before we transferred to Zurich, and then we'd have a little bit of a wait and then get to Greece. So it was all in, and I got an approval right away. So it was an app, and basically what they're doing is they're asking you all the places you're going to be in Greece for contact tracing.
Okay, fair enough.
But I left off the last place in Santorini because it was just, we were island hopping. It's like, ugh, I'm done with Naxos and Mykonos is enough for them. They don't need to know the third place.
I think Santorini's sort of a given.
There you go. After that, you can track me down from Naxos, where I went for my last 3 days. So
yes. So, and then there you are. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. Flight, I'm glad you had business class.
Well, so am I, and we're fortunate, but I'll tell you, and the guy, lovely steward in business class said, you know what, you guys are lucky, because it was just in the last couple of days we started meal service, full meal service, and you can have a bottle of Prosecco, whatever. But the people in economy, people were going up to the desk, is it okay if I get a full row? And they said, no worries, you can get a full row to stretch out, the plane is not busy. And even business class is usually jammed with people who are upgrading, right, or Air Canada employees, who that's one of the perks they get to sometimes get that as part of their benefit. So
right, but it is nice to have that little more elbow room. Even someone short like myself, I do appreciate it. Doesn't happen often, but I appreciate it. So you arrived in Greece and you got through quickly.
Very, very fast. In fact, we were temperature checked getting on the plane in Toronto, but we were not temperature checked when we arrived. So maybe they just assume, okay, they got on okay, they're still going to be fine. So, and I don't want to put any disparagement on Greece at all. I think that were handling things very well, but that's just the reality we had. They had the app, they checked, I had the QR code that had been acknowledged by the Greek government. And you had to flash that on arrival saying you've done the forum, they know where you're going to be, you've gone through they asked you the health questions upon boarding the plane. So, yeah.
Very good. And did you see the mascot?
No, I didn't see that guy. Maybe he was in another terminal. I don't know.
I don't know. He looks a little Canadian to me. He kind of looks like a hockey puck with legs, a blue hockey puck.
That doesn't look very Greek, does that?
No, I thought of hockey when I first saw him. Okay. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's an older picture. That's why he doesn't have a mask on. Okay. So you were wearing masks in the usual places where you would expect.
Well, it was a little bit strange sometimes because, like, I don't know whether you have the picture there, but yeah, every service staff, they were very good.
There's one.
Here's a museum in Naxos up in the Castro area, beautiful area. And we were, beautiful stuff of Cycladic art and local artists. This is a Parisian art dealer who works there during the summer. You have a lot of people come into the islands in the summer, you know, for the tourist trade, but we loved some of the stuff in here. But every shop owner, museum owner, everyone wears masks. Now, when you enter his store, you wear a mask. But when you enter a restaurant, if you go into a restaurant enclosure, no, you don't have to, but stores and museums.
Yes. Okay.
And it was very weird with the port because you can be out in the waiting area of the docks and you don't necessarily have to. When you enter the ferry, you do. And then if you're on a little ship, anyway, we'll probably get to that, but there was some uniqueness. Like here is a beautiful, this is a famous restaurant in the west side of Naxos. Everyone's out enjoying things. I mean, I don't know whether you call it social distancing. I didn't think it that different. Yeah, a little bit, but it wasn't like a stretch, you know?
Right.
And in the distance, I don't know whether you can see any, there you go. You can see in the corner there, do you see that rather large lady behind me with the black tank top? Right at my head on the top right,
yes.
There, she's wearing a mask. So you can't see many service staff in this picture. Actually, the service is slow here. But the servers on the beach, even in the open air, always wore masks. The diners did not.
Okay. And oh my gosh, I've been many places and too many places more than once. And Greece is on my calendar for next July. So I can't wait till I get there.
Well, I'm an ancient history person. So I'm an Egyptologist, as you know, and
Right.
I do tours to Egypt as well. I don't do the type of tours, the wonderful Expedia cruise centers. You're in Europe and a cruise expert and a Caribbean expert, and that's amazing. I don't touch that. But I do love my ancient history, and I was a classics geek in school. And here I am at the Temple of Demeter on the bottom left, and she was a grain goddess. And this is this wonderful fertile region in the middle of the island of Naxos. And you climb up, it's just an idyllic little climb. It's a bit of a harrowing drive to get there. But this is a very beautiful scenic site, and you get beautiful views. And it was restored in the late 20th century, this little temple. Isn't that much to explore, but it's a nice little stop on your way to explore the interior of Naxos. Now, on the top right is the island of Santorini, and this, of course, was rumored to be the lost continent of Atlantis. And in 1625 BCE, we're pretty clear on the date, there was a massive explosion that ended the vestiges of Minoan civilization on the island. Now, only since the 1960s have they tried to reconstruct this very modern town that existed until 1625 BC, this Minoan town, Akrotiri. And believe it or not, this is an interior archaeology site. They've roofed it, so because it's inside, we had to wear masks. But holy crap, the stuff that they have found, and if we have time later, I'll see if I can run on Facebook. There's the video I did from inside there showing you some pottery. Right. And it's an unbelievable site. You can walk through and see everything. And only about 5 to 10% of this site has yet to be excavated. And it's probably a financial and time issue, but there's so much more that they're learning about Santorini's vast ancient past that is not thought yet. I want to go join this dig. It would be great. They're only virtually starting to unearth things.
That would be amazing. Would be growing.
So you've got to go to Akrotiri, and every year there'll be more stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to get there. So that looked cozy, this boat.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people stand in line saying, "Oh, should we do it?" I wasn't thrilled with this little Jason cruise, and they were cramming. There's a lot of Italian, French, Greek tourists. We met a lovely Greek man with his son from Athens. There's a lot of French, people from France, people from Italy traveling, and a lot of Greeks. So this was busy. This was a cruise to Rena Caves and Coupe Phoenicia, this idyllic little island, to go swimming and snorkeling and everything. And it was a bit too busy. And here's the stupidity. When you enter the ship, nope, gotta wear your masks. You're in the port, put your masks on. Everybody's got their masks on. And as soon as you cast anchor, get your masks off. It's just sort of a little strange. But I guess you have the fresh sea air, around everyone. But it was a little cozy.
Yeah. Oh, and would that be your server?
No. Okay, so this is out of context. This is Nicoletta at the best hotel. We should share a link later. Okay. Anyone is going to the island of Naxos and is booking, and if you're booking anyone there, one of the best hotels I have ever stayed in is the boutique Hotel Grata. Hotel Grata in Hora, Naxos. This is Nicoletta, one of the owners, doing this fabulous breakfast. And it is a fantastic little hotel overlooking the port that we were so lucky to stay on. And when we were on Naxos, part of our stay in Naxos was at this fabulous little hotel with a beautiful room with a balcony and sunsets and the best service I've ever received. So very good. And we should have that. I think the link is on my site under my Naxos blog that I just posted.
Right. And at the end, I do have a link for people to follow your blog because
they get that hotel got about 5 out of 5 scores on booking.com and everything. They're phenomenal. So anyway.
And like the slide says, if you were to travel to Greece right now, you're looking at greatly reduced prices and the crowds. You're not facing the same level of crowds as you normally would.
No, although that said, we were a little surprised. Now, here I was just floored when I got to this room I had booked. I used my travel points for part of it, but the room I had to extend with was essentially, and this was a pool shared with maybe 2 other rooms or something, but look at the views I have. It was a beautiful big room at Santorini on the cliff, the best view in Greece, let alone the island of Santorini. And the extra night was about 288 Canadian. Probably
Worth
would have
it.
been about 500 normally. So it was really, really good. And there were a lot of people in Santorini, a lot of people in the streets, but the shop owners were still shaking their heads saying, oh, well, maybe it'll be better next summer. So what, you can't move in the streets? So evidently going to Santorini in August is really, it's much better to go in September or October. August is peak season. And we saw a
Right.
lot of kids and families. I mean, there's a lot of Italians out and French out with their big families, and very little diversity traveling.
There's your
Actually,
crowds.
take a look. Do you see many diverse people in these crowds? We were surprised living in the Toronto area, right?
Mhm.
It was all white people out vacationing. So, for the most part, it was really interesting. We did observe that. Maybe it's just a Southern Ontario phenomena that we have such a diverse multicultural society, but the travelers out enjoying Greece were, I would say, 80%, 80 to 90% white bread.
It's probably a lot to do with the fact that most of the tourists right now are themselves European nationals,
Yeah.
and a good number of European nationals are of white descent. So
But you look
yeah,
at the British, and
but
we didn't see as many British, and the Brits are pretty multicultural.
I know what you're saying though. Living here in Toronto, when you go to that sort of situation, it just seems a little odd because it's just so much fun. You go up to the Danforth, you go to Little Italy, you go to Chinatown, Kensington Market, everywhere here, and the city is just a pocket of neighborhoods wherever you go. And I'm sure there's a lot of other cities throughout North America like that too, but that's what we're used to. We're used to the great diversity.
Well, it's even just the mixture of people and the mixture of skin tones, the mixture of cultures. And here it was largely, and it was interesting because there's this stereotype of the multicultural family having a lot of kids and things. We were seeing a lot of French families with lots of kids now too, and Italian families. It was, it was very busy, but we didn't see Germans, we didn't see multicultural, and we didn't see as many English. And we certainly, someone said to us, oh, you're probably the only Canadians on Naxos. So I think we did meet a couple of Canadians on Santorini though. And here's the streets that weren't that busy at this time on Santorini. The beautiful, Ia Santorini is the tip where everyone goes to see the sunset. That's where we stayed, the town of Ia, not Fira. And we were describing it, it's kind of like Rodeo Drive on a stunning volcanic island. It's very rich, it's very sumptuous, there's very luxurious stores, and look at the beautiful marble pathway that you walk on out, to have your beautiful dinner and drinks by the sunset. It's stunning, but there were a lot of people, but not horribly enough that I'm very glad I went in August 2020 and not August 2021 or 22 or 2019.
Yeah, and you went, it was great. It's almost like going during a shoulder season. It's as if like when I went to Israel and Jordan this January, thankfully I did get some travel in. Everyone said going in January. I went, yeah. I carried a sweater in case I got cold. It was perfect weather. It was perfect weather for exploring and taking everything in without the crowds and without the heat. So
absolutely. Although we went to Sicily in 2018, I believe it was 2018 fall. It was October, and some of the little towns there were very, very busy. So it depends. I think some places are busy, all through. You really do have to go January to go to Venice or to go to things like that. But yeah, nevertheless.
So here we go. Mykonos.
Oh, Mykonos is so beautiful. We were just there 18 hours. I would go back. It's just like, it's like an art gallery. It's a living, breathing art gallery, walking in this warren of streets and the beautiful white and black. It was very peaceful. There was no one there. We arrived on a Monday night, I believe, Tuesday night, had this one night, and got up early and just did this little photo safari walking through this little streets. And
There's not a soul in your picture, not a person, not one.
No, it's beautiful. And there's these old windmills, and it was extremely quiet in Mykonos town. So yes, we did notice the difference there. Maybe not Ia Santorini when we were there, but certainly Mykonos town, which is usually one of the most populated Greek stops, was stunning. And anyone who just appreciates this beautiful, stark, the typical Cycladic scene of the white tumbling houses down into the sea and this deep blue sea. And the sea at the port was clean. You know, you'd think such a touristed place would be dirty, but it was clean, and the restaurants are beautiful. And there's also fantastic designer stores if you're a glamorous traveler. It is a glamorous little town. And there's some islands that are less glamorous. Mykonos and Santorini are the most glamorous. So and here, yeah, go ahead.
There's a stunning beach. Did you get to spend much time on that beach?
Well, this was a little excursion on Naxos. We stayed in the Plaka area. This is Alikos Beach, and Alikos is a little bit to the south, the southwest. You need a car to get there, and we spent a morning there. And it was like, it's also called Hawaii Beach, but it's a very calm beach. It's very good for families. And there's this beautiful little chapel on top of the hill that I write about in the blog. And we went in, it's this Chapel of St. Georgios, and you can go in this tiny little door, and I lit a candle for my parents and just spent some peaceful moments. And then there's this fabulous graffiti at this old bones of an old unfinished hotel on the cliff, and you can explore that. And it's lovely to just get out in a big lush island like Naxos, where we spent the majority of our trip, to go exploring the remote beaches and the mountainous, rugged interior.
Wow, it just looks stunning. Oh, the sunset.
Yes. So these are two things. So this was my view on the right of little Naxos town from that fantastic Grotta Hotel I talked about, the boutique hotel. You walk down into the town from the hotel. Just so beautiful with the way that the hotel is situated, and the town is a Venetian. It's a lot of Venetian ruins through the town. The old Castro is there. Really fun to explore that town. And on the left of the picture with that purple, we did a hike through the mountainous interior of Naxos and came across the town of Mona. And these, just everywhere you look, these little picture perfect stairways and Byzantine churches and stoneworks and orchards. Lovely stuff.
Oh, it looks beautiful. And here we go. Oh, the mountains.
Yeah, and if you love mountains, I mean, Naxos is a fantastic place to explore. And I'm a bit height phobic, so I've always had problems in Greece with those winding roads on mountain paths, but it is exciting. Yeah, and yeah. So this is the Portara. This is the ruins. It's like some absurdist sculpture up there when you get your boat comes into the port of Naxos. It's all that's left of a temple to either Apollo or Dionysus, whose the name is associated with the island. And it just stands there on this little island that used to be the island of Bacchus. And it's this fantastic thing. And we actually visited it at midnight. We can actually go and walk on this pathway with
there you go.
Waving up. Yeah, that was, you can, isn't that, where can you go? What's interesting is places like Greece and Egypt's the same way. You can do things that are, safety standards and all these restrictions, and some of the other places are, that you cannot possibly do. You can walk out on this rugged pathway and go see an ancient 6th century BC monument in the middle of the night and have a unique experience with it. So that was cool. And really the time to do things in the summer, if you're visiting Greece, is, I would say, enjoy the sunset, have a glass of wine. The sunset's about 8:20, 8 to 8:30. Then go have your evening out, and you can rest and nap in the late afternoon, do some stuff in the morning, and enjoy the time you're in Greece between 7 in the evening and midnight. Maybe 1 o'clock. The stores are still open until 1.
Very
the
good.
People are still eating dinner at 11:30 at night, including kids.
Yes, yeah, it's a little bit like Spain that way.
There you go. And this is me, some more beautiful views from Santorini. That's just the view when we walked up the 60 steps from our beautiful suite. And that's the other thing, though, I do notice some of the places we stayed, the Mykonos Hotel and the Santorini Hotel, there were seniors staying in the Naxos hotels. It was doable, but you can't do this type of accommodation when you're old and infirm, you know. There were 60 high steps to get up and down. And there was this really buff, good-looking porter who took the huge luggage over his shoulders up and down the stairs for us, because we couldn't have possibly got our luggage up and down to our apartment. It's very vertical living wherever you go, and to explore it, it takes an athletic person, you know. Not that I'm the most athletic, but I try, and my husband is totally not athletic, and he struggled a bit, but.
So it would be challenging for those with with mobility issues.
There is no way, there's no handicap standards in Ia Santorini and in some of the places in Greece or in Mykonos. Yeah, forget it. But as I say, there was this couple, the hotel I mentioned, the Grotta Hotel, there was an English couple who had been keep coming back to the hotel for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And they were, you know, sometimes they'd walk down into town, sometimes they'd just relax. So certainly there are places in Greece you can go, but be very careful if you're going to the islands to check the accommodation, to check your situation, because some of it is challenging. Oh, here we go. This is a picture of, I think that's a hearth from inside Akrotiri. So that's one of the places, it's a production area. They lived upstairs and they did production and baking and all sorts of things on the bottom level of their homes. And you can see beautiful pottery and all of these relics of how they lived. Mm-hmm. And it just blows your mind when you think this is pre-1625 BC. So you think of the height of Greek civilization, we're talking about the 4th and 5th century BC. That's 1,000 years before that. Wow. This is 300 years before Tutankhamun. Okay, at least.
Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible. And
I just love this view. This is just some girl checking her phone, and just this is the kind of views you're walking, and it's just a steep drop off and the boats below. And the famous thing to do, and we didn't this trip, I have in the past, is to do the caldera tour. You take a little boat out, and the water there is incredibly deep, and I don't know the exact measurements, but this is all volcanic. The volcano erupted in the caldera outside, so you've got these deep waters to explore, and little non-active volcanoes all around you can go and walk on, and there are hot springs, and there's all these fabulous things to do. But the cruises at sunset are very popular, and in the daytime. So
I can't wait. Is that wine delivery?
Just a little thing outside this lovely restaurant. We went to some very fine, the cuisine is very high level in Ia, and it was just a fine little, little restaurant, one of the many restaurants that are, you do your research, you see what the insider people are saying or where the hot spots to eat are in Ia. Don't go to just the tourist places, the big tourist places. This was one of the off the beaten tracks. I think this is Melatini restaurant, and it didn't have the best sunset views, but it's just a lovely little small plates and charming experience.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's good to go off the beaten path. I recall one meal I really enjoyed in Lisbon. We asked the conductor of the funicular, where would you dine? Where would you go have a meal tonight along the way? And he pointed out a restaurant. We went in, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a great meal. And
absolutely.
There you guys are with the sun.
Yeah. It was our 5th wedding anniversary, and we had actually we got married in Egypt. We're both Egyptologists. We got married in Luxor, very special thing. We honeymooned on another fabulous island that people don't think of to travel. This is back in 2015, Aegina. It's a short ferry ride from the port of Piraeus at Athens. It's the wealthy island of Aegina, and we had a fabulous honeymoon there. 5 years later, here we are, Ia Santorini, and this was another lovely little, maybe this was Melatini restaurant, with the windmill in the background. This had lovely sunset views.
No, that's a lovely picture.
It was great. So
yeah, no, it's adorable. And so for anyone that wants to read more, we have your website up here, and plus I will be posting this video onto my YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to find it a little quicker than searching for it in Facebook, they'll be able to tune in there.
Lisa, let me ask you, you you told me about fabulous cruises, 2-week cruises and different experiences that you're selling in Greece too. I mean, you can definitely, but you're an expert in European travel and Caribbean, so you can definitely help. Because I didn't really know people who were experts in this when I booked, but we're experienced. We just found our way. But I would have loved to do something more organized even next time.
Right. Well, I found this one little cruise line out of Greece. I believe they're registered in Cyprus. They just acquired a new ship from someone else. So they can't be hurting too bad, because I know there's a lot of talk of what's going on in the cruise industry right now. I've sailed with them twice when they were in Cuba, and I'm going on the same ship again in July, and I'm looking forward to it. Their staff is amazing. I went one year, and then I came back, went on the same ship the following year. I can't tell you how many staff remembered me.
Wow.
They would
Yeah.
come up and they would hug you and they'd say, welcome back. I mean, the staff is just amazing. And I think that's probably a trickle down from management.
You know, another comment, I've heard some people say, oh, the Greek people, they're not as friendly as the Turks or this or that. I found them so welcoming. And some people said they're trying extra hard because of the economy right now. But I found every host we had and every experience we had with people, I have never had such fantastic warmth and service as I did in this Greece trip. Very, very hospitable.
I've heard that about different cultures too. And when I've traveled, I have not experienced that when I got to the destination. When you're meeting people on a one-to-one basis. I mean, come on. They even say that sometimes about Canadians. You know, that we're too smart and we're and it's so yeah, I had a very disappointing experience in Budapest. They were really glum and surly. They were like, oh, too many years of communist rule or something. You get to the spa. Hello, welcome to the spa. Want a towel? I don't know. It's like, it was awful. I don't know. I just noticed a big difference in Eastern Europe, and I was disappointed by Budapest. That was just my experience. No, I have lots of Hungarian friends. Budapest is on my calendar for the end of November. I'm doing Christmas market sailing from Vilshofen down to Budapest with AMA Waterways. And I'm so looking forward to it because I've sailed with AMA before. They're fabulous. And I've been to Christmas markets in Europe only once, and Paris has a very, very large one. And I'm looking forward to hitting all the different markets along the Danube and going to the spa. So I'm gonna, if they're gonna be glum, I'm going to. Well, the spas are very nice, so just enjoy the spa. I know what hotel I want to stay in. The same, you know, I usually like to try different places, but the staff were so wonderful at the hotel I stayed in last time, a small little boutique hotel, that I'll be returning there too. And I'm looking forward to it. But Laura, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Again, I'm putting this on YouTube. So if anyone wants to review this again, and Laura, if you just want to share before we go, your web address. Oh yeah, well, I don't know how to do that, but it's laura@copybard.com. I don't know that I get travelbard.com. It's a new, I'm actually a communications writer, so I've launched my travel blogging, travelbard.com. Laura@copybard.com. Actually, any questions on travel, but I'm an Egypt specialist too, so I can tell you anything about Egypt. So. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you joining me. And for all those that were able to tune in, thank you. I'm not sure what next week's travel chat's going to be about, but I do know coming in September, I'm going to be speaking with the representative from Club Med. And it's very interesting because the Club Med product includes travel insurance which addresses COVID-19 as well. So it should be
Great.
really interesting because Club Med is primarily in Europe. So they have many, many wonderful destinations. And for those that are thinking that they're going to want to get out and go skiing this winter, that may be an amazing option for you. So stay tuned. And when I have more details, I'll put that up there. And I want to thank everyone and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.